So I wanted to go over the faction crypts, and more specifically in the barbarians. They're up right now. Um, this is the kind of thing that's going to take me time to get through all of the different. Well, let's head to the faction crypts. Faction wars. So barbarians is up. Undead horde is up. I figured once in a while we'll go through one of these. I've beaten this one. The team that I used to beat it and farm. Once you beat stage 21 and get your 3 stars, you never have to go back. Let's talk about that. Stage 21 on all of these. I mean, look, it took me almost 11 and a half minutes to get through it. You're going to almost certainly be manualing through it at least the first time that you beat it. And trying to keep everybody alive is difficult. The bosses are hard. And we're going to have to do individual videos on just the boss fights on stage 21 because it takes forever to go through it, and to actually sit here and show you the mechanics of it would take too long. What I'm going to do is go over the heroes that are going to help you get through this. You may have noticed I completed this with a level 50 rare. You don't have to have all legendaries. Everybody gets Haikatun. Everybody knows she's amazing. Soulbound Warrior, we'll talk about her. Seal of the Drakes, everybody gets her. She's really important on this team. She has that revive so that you can get the 3 stars. If someone dies on the boss, she can bring them back before you kill him. But once you beat stage 21, you get the same rewards on stage 20 as you do for beating stage 21, so you get to farm stage 20. Before we go in here and go through it and farm it, hopefully I can auto farm it. I did the first time there. Let's go into the barbarians and see who is worth building up. Once you start beating your stage 20 dungeons, one of the things you want to do is focus on getting 5 or 6 of every faction that are going to help you beat the faction wars. So barbarians, let's start with the obvious. Now, if you have legendaries, they're going to be great. You know, they're hard to get, so I'm not going to go over all the legendaries. I mean, Valkyrie, if you've got her, obviously you want her on your team. I've got Alton. He can actually do a revive when he kills somebody, real defensive. All of these are going to help you. If you have them, build them, use them. But Seal of the Drakes we will talk about. We all know that every turn she heals. Every time she takes a turn, she increases the speed of 2 of her allies. Every time. It's amazing. It really is. She's a defense-based character. She's hard to kill. She can decrease the speed of enemies. She can decrease their turn meter. She attacks all enemies 2 times. She can stun them on each hit. She revives an ally, gives them ally protection. She's absolutely a carry and amazing. She can almost solo stage 20. So if you've got her, she's going to be key, and they actually are kind of lacking in this department. So we're not going to go over legendaries. If you have them, they're good. What we're going to talk about are the other useful characters. I mean, you got a lot of damage here. This on a single target, she can put out weaken on one move, decrease defense. But there are a lot in the barbarians. There are a lot of single target damage dealers. Jotun's great, but he's only great at killing one at a time, and you're gonna probably want more utility than that. So the few that can actually help you, Sakara, basically the only thing you're gonna get out of her, she attacks all enemies 3 times, kind of like Lua. If you make her strong and can afford all these books, because she likes to read, then she could help you with wave clear big time. She also has she fills her own turn meter, chance to place weaken on all enemies. That's really good too. She is definitely one that you could bring. I think she pairs up with Alika, but basically for massive AoE damage, and that weaken will help a lot. So if you've got her, she's good. The new Armina Armina is actually pretty good. I would put her high on my list if you got her, because she attacks all enemies and then puts the big version of decreased defense on them. When you take 60% of the enemy's defense down, you're basically doubling the speed at which you're going to clear waves. This is super good. She steals turn meter, does some more turn meter manipulation. If she brings them all the way down, she can stun them. She's a super cool champ and could be very useful getting through all of the waves, and then putting this debuff on the boss. One of the top picks out of the epics. Let's see. We've got not all that many. Haikatoon, 100% great. Her aura, speed in all battles, could be very useful. I would suggest going for a defensive aura if you have a good one, but that's a useful aura that could help you out. She decreases the speed on her A1. That's great for the boss. Great for any tough, if you're up against a tough wave. Fills the turn meter of all allies, then puts increased speed on them. This is something that you're not going to get. I don't know if you can get it anywhere else in the Barbarians, so she's gonna almost for sure be on your team unless you have a lot of those legendaries and don't need her. Attacks all enemies, can decrease their turn meter. There's nothing to dislike about Haikatoon. Just because you get her for free, don't write her off. She is important. She's on my team. She took me right through it. Is this Vala? Vala. Now Vala's good. She removed. Okay, she shields herself up, making herself very tough to kill. She's a defense-based champ, but here she has the big version of decreased defense on the entire team as well, and everything else plays around keeping her alive. She's real tanky. Again, you're seeing that you're going to want a decreased defense, and there are places to get it. If you don't have these few epics, we're going to go over where you can get it here shortly. I would also like to call out Farrakhan the Fat. Let's just call him the Fat. This dude he's got, what is his deal? Okay, right here, increases crit rate, increases crit damage on all allies. This is definitely good. It's 3 turns of this too, so you can up your damage. You pair him up with 1-2 good damage dealers. I would suggest going support the rest of the way. Maybe bring in your Haikatoon, your Seal of the Drakes. And this right here is going to make everybody do more work. It kind of goes hand in hand with decreased defense. So Farrakhan the Fat would be, or Farrakhan, he would be great. And there, there's going to be several. They're all going to be useful in their own way, but most of them are single target. Now Touch Shaman, straight out for support. That's all she's going to bring, but she brings it good. She does all kinds of. She heals. She boosts turn meter. She blocks debuffs and has a revive on death to help you stay alive if you take that final blow. And that's kind of the whole point, is to beat each stage with 3 stars. She's got a pretty big HP in all battles, but she is a solid support, one of the better in the game, to be honest. So bringing her is great. And look, so we went over the epics, and you kind of see that you'd have to have very specific epics to beat this. We know you're going to have Haikatoon, but the rest of them, you're going to have exactly who you need to actually do some work. We know you'll have Seal of the Drakes, and that's going to be a huge buff to your team. But really, some of these rares can do amazing things. Marked, she is an awesome champ. So a single target, small version of decreased defense. That's okay if you have to use it on the boss. Attacks all enemies with a decreased accuracy. These guys are going to be throwing out debuffs at you, just like if you're in the arena. That's kind of the way Faction Wars plays out. It's like an arena team that the AI is controlling. Well, if you can decrease accuracy, then obviously you don't have to stack a ton of resist. This helps you completely negate what they're trying to debuff you with. And even better, she has a block debuffs right here on all allies for a turn, and 60% increased defense for your whole team. Clearly going to help keep you alive. She is an amazing support champ, and she does have a Faction Crypts defense aura. It's not huge, but I'm telling you, defense is one of the best auras you can get, especially if you're struggling. Marked is definitely one of the top-notch characters. And here, War Maiden, the obvious reason you would always want her, she attacks all enemies and puts decreased defense on them. You can farm her up. We've talked about her 100 times. This is why she's so great. If you don't have one of those, I think 3 other champs in the entire list that can do decreased defense on the entire team, she's going to get you through it. And then there is this Berserker. He is a Berserker or Ox. Yeah, attacks all enemies 2 times, will ignore defense. You can build him up just for some wave clear. That's really all he's going to bring. I wouldn't suggest going out and just pushing this guy before you push the other ones I'm mentioning, but sometimes you have to have damage to get through these things, and he can help. But here's a great one. Soulbound Boyer. She attacks all enemies. Additional chance of every move she has gives her 25% chance of landing a crit. So she's easier to get. You just get her to 75 and she'll always crit. The A1, oddly enough, I do not believe hits very hard, but I believe this one actually hits very hard. And then her A3 I think is actually one of the better hits out of any of the rares. But what she does is easy to build, and then she'll ignore 75% of the target's defense, almost all of it. This is a hard hitting ability, and this move is amazing. If you're up against, we'll have to see who's actually in the waves, but I know a lot of times you're up against like a Valkyrie. Once they set off, it just gets nasty. Well, she can fully deplete their turn meter if she's booked 100%. Deplete their turn meter. That takes them out of the picture. And I'm using her even at level 50. She is booked on mine. I'm using her just so that I can pick somebody out, take them down, and she comes with an AoE attack. Her other attacks are actually strong. So she helps me get through the waves, control them a little bit, and we're not really going to get into the uncommon thing. The deal is there are some good ones. Shield Guard, and maybe Spirit Walker. They're pretty good uncommons, but you don't want to be putting your time and energy into them if you have the ability to build Soulbound Boyer, Marked, if you have Seal of the Drakes, High Katoon. The uncommon thing is something, if you're just now starting and have nobody to use, those two could actually be helpful. Or if you're actually later enough game to be playing around, that's when you really want to use uncommons. So we're going to go ahead. I think that's really about it. He is single target. Skirmisher. Decrease some turn meter. Attacks all enemies, removes one random buff. Actually, not too bad. Not too bad. Being able to, random buff from each enemy on a AOE. Decrease turn meter by a bit if it's crit, and this one not such a big deal. She could be helpful. Well, let's see. Is this guy a single target? He's good at provoking though. Attacks all enemies. Decrease attack. So yeah, okay. Sentinel would be really good too. Heal reduction could come in handy. We'll have to see who's in the waves. He's definitely somebody worth calling out. Easy to come by. And for the most part, the rest of these are just not people you're going to want to build. Not for faction wars at least. So let's get into the faction wars and kind of see what we got going on. Faction wars to the barbarians. We'll slow this down and just let it play through. It looks like it takes 2.5 minutes to beat, so it shouldn't take too long. So I've got High Katoon in the lead for the speed. I don't think I could actually get more. If you were struggling, I would use an aura like this. Apparently, the speed with my Seal of the Drakes is keeping everybody alive. Soulbound Boyer, not even maxed out yet. I do want to max her, but I keep getting these other heroes. Let's just kind of look at the waves, see how they play out. Try not to drag this out too long. Let's see. Alright, so let's slow it down. We're looking at, I see a Lua. If you were manual, I'm going to auto this, but I would be focusing on Lua. Allure, I would probably want to get out of there. Banshee. This is the order I would probably be trying to kill people in if I was in control. I've got great defense from my Altan. You can see we're staying fast because of my Hakatoon, and I've got these legendaries hitting hard. But look, Hakatoon's doing her job. Soulbound Boyer hits pretty hard. You just saw it. We've got revives in case anything goes wrong, but we're easily going to get through wave 1. Wave 2 is almost always the difficult one. I mean, Paragon can go unkillable. He can be a nightmare sometimes. He can get you almost stuck in here. But we've got stuns out from Seal of the Drakes, somebody that you can have, will have, 100%. And she's doing more work than anybody here, I promise. It's just in the background. She's increasing people's speed. She's stunning. She's killing. She heals every single move. And if somebody dies, she just brings them right back. So we're just going through. I mean, it's not quick, but it's nice and smooth. We're going through. We're killing people one at a time. This is on auto. And if you had some of these heroes and then took all 10 out and Elder Skarg out and just put in maybe a Marked with block debuffs, she does the increased defense like all 10. Bring somebody like probably decrease their defense with War Maiden. If that team was in here, the only risk you have is those two being a little bit weaker from being rares dying, and Seal of the Drakes would 100% just pick them right back up as if it never happened. So this team might take a little longer, and you would probably want to do this on manual. Like Seeker needs to die, right? They're not going after him. They're just looking at HP. I don't know what makes them affinity first, then HP. And Seeker's going to get this team rolling fast here in a minute. He puts out provokes. That's nasty. But if you've got block debuffs up from Marked, maybe, that will keep you from even having to worry about these. They're decreasing my attack here. You wouldn't have to worry about that. Now, luckily, Seal of the Drakes doesn't care about her attack at all. She's defense based. This is going to take a minute. I'm going to go ahead and put this on ×2. This is going to be a longer fight. You see, we lost Soulbound Boyer, and it doesn't bother me because look, Seal of the Drakes picked her right back up. We're going to let her be our punching bag. And if you're trying to 3-star this, all you have to do is towards the end, once we start killing a few heroes. Let's see, we got one down. Let's get at least another down. We can take it off auto, unless Seal starts bringing them back on her own anyway. And then you can just slowly A1. She brought Elder back. She brought everybody back. We're done. It's all good. So we got no damage buff. It's gonna make this take longer. It's just these are tough fights. That's all there is to it. But if we can get, we're about to start going downhill here. We're starting to really take people out. Things are looking better. Seeker is finally out of there. Now we have very little threat. The AoE's gone. It's pretty much over. And all you would want to do is when you start getting close to the end is make sure you're using, if you needed to take it off auto, make sure you're using your revive at the right time so you don't lose them. And again, farming stage 20, I only got a 4-star, but this is where you get the big glyphs and the good stuff to build legendaries. I love perception gear. So you do not need or want to be farming stage 21 once you've beaten it, gotten your legendary book. You want to actually farm stage 20. It's a whole lot easier. If you've beaten stage 21, there's a good chance you can auto stage 20. And if not, it's still worth manualing. It's totally the way to go. Same rewards in each. I have not beaten, or haven't. Okay, I have not beaten Undead. And we're not going to get, that's going to be a whole nother video. We'll do Undead on another video. I'll just take these one at a time. I just wanted you to see the characters that I think are the most useful to build. And I don't want to like play around with, kind of ignore the uncommon thing. Though they can be useful, if you've got the gear to make those uncommons good, you probably have better heroes in your vault. So I wanted you to see the most useful. If you're looking for 5 or 6 on each faction to build, those are the ones I would go for. And remember, run faction wars every day, even if you're only at stage 2. Run it every day. Those glyphs are just crazy important. Crazy. You cannot speed tune, not easily, without glyphs. And you're eventually going to have to speed tune. You're going to have to bump somebody's speed up, even if it's just for arena to make them work right. That's it, guys. Slowly, I'll start tackling each one of these faction crypts, and we'll kind of talk about who's good for faction wars. Until next time, enjoy the grind.